Hello, good morning, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. The rest of my life gonna start today.
Good morning and welcome to Thoughtful Thursdays, where the whole school is together for morning meeting. My name is Miss Trish and I'm so happy to be here. I have a lot to share with you. As a matter of fact, your friends have even more to share with you. So come on, let's get started.
Do not forget to make time for a sweet greet.
All right, everyone, it's time for a sweet greet. Now, the last time we were together, we were working on looking straight into someone's eyes, making eye contact. Did you practice that? Did you notice that you got better as you went along? It certainly becomes more comfortable. This week, we're going to work on the lower part of our face, our mouth. The lower part of your face really tells the whole story. Take a look at this story. Take a look at this story. Take a look at this story. Did you notice the lower part of the mouth really makes a difference? So what should the lower part of your mouth be doing? Well, in a sweet greet, it should be smiling, of course. Sometimes I notice kids think they're smiling, and maybe they are smiling on the inside, but not on the outside. I'll look at someone and they'll look like this. And I'll say, "Why aren't you smiling?" And they say, "I am smiling." And I say one thing to them: look at yourself in the mirror. Sometimes you don't even notice you're not smiling. By looking in the mirror, you can actually see how big your smiler is on a scale of 1 to 10. I suppose you don't want to be a complete 10. You don't want to scare anybody off. But I would say a good 7, 8. That would be solid. Here's my 7, 8 smile. Good morning. I'm Miss Trish. How are you? See what a difference it makes?
Care to share? Well, come on and get out of your chair. Are you standing up? Why not? Go ahead. It's just you and your room and the screen. What's stopping you? Nobody is watching. Come on. Take a minute. Wave your hands in the air like you just don't care. Here's a friend that'll join you. Feels good to get moving, doesn't it? Actually, it just feels good to be yourself. Not worry about what others may think. Not worry about what others may say. Not worried about what others may do. If they found out you were dancing along with a gold robot... Oh, but guess what? Everybody was dancing along with a gold robot. I bet even your teachers were. As a matter of fact, everybody is experiencing a lot of the same things you are. Today we have some brave classmates who care to share something about their experiences.
So my name is Ariana, and I want to talk about what I miss at being at Edison and being on computers.
Ariana, great idea. Let's talk about first some things we miss about being at Edison.
I like to play with my friends.
What I miss about school is playing with my friends. I miss the park. I miss morning meeting.
Hi, I like Edison because I like to play recess at school.
What I love about Edison is I like playing with my friends and playing on the swings and on the park, and it's fun to play with our friends on the merry-go-round.
I'd rather be doing school in the classroom because I feel like if I do it in the computer, I feel like I'm not gonna do it right and I might do it wrong. And I like doing it in school because I don't see how I'm doing it now like that. Like when I'm in school, the teacher tell me how I did, and they're gonna tell me that, and my mom is a teacher, and it's really hard.
What I really miss about being at Edison is spending some of my
Not being with your friends is hard, isn't it? It can feel like you are invisible, but you are not alone. Seems like everyone is feeling that way, doesn't it? And how about working on computer?
At Edison, you have to like just sit down and talk about stuff, and it's different because you can't do that on computers. On the laptops, I really don't know about the laptops. Like, it's a little fun though.
And sometimes we have bad connections, and I can't see my teacher anymore.
On the computer, it's easy, well, kind of easy and fun and not fun at the same time.
Each day can feel fun and not fun at the same time. That is normal, just so long as we look out for each other. Remember, kindness helps. And so can a good story. Today's story is called The Invisible Boy by Trudy Ludwig. And at first look you might think, well, that book looks kind of young for me. But I'm here to tell you that even though the setting of this story is probably a first or second grade classroom, it's interesting how the dynamics, the things that happen between the kids are similar, and you might find those same things that happen in your grade. So I'm going to ask you to draw a connection between what you experience in school to the children in this classroom. And I think you're going to find some similarities. The Invisible Boy by Trudy Ludwig. Can you see Brian, the invisible boy? Even Mrs. Carlotti has trouble noticing him in her classroom. She's too busy dealing with Nathan and Sophie. Do you have a Nathan or a Sophie in your classroom? Nathan has problems with what Mrs. Carlotti calls volume control. He uses his outside voice inside too much. Sophie whines and complains when she doesn't get her way. Nathan and Sophie take up a lot of space. Brian doesn't. When the bell rings for recess, Micah and JT take turns choosing kids for their kickball teams. The best players get picked first. Then the best friends of the best players. Then the friends of the best friends. Only Brian is left, still waiting and still hoping. JT glances in Brian's direction and just as quickly looks away. We've got enough players for each team, he tells the others. Let's play ball. Take a look at the invisible boy. Ever felt that way? In the cafeteria, Madison and her friends talk about her birthday party. The rope swing over the pool was awesome, says JT. Yeah, so was the water slide, adds Fiona. That was the best pool party ever. I'm so glad you guys had fun, says Madison. Everybody did except Brian. He wasn't invited. At choosing time, while the other kids play board games and read, Brian sits at his table doing what he loves to do best. He draws fire-breathing dragons scaling tall buildings. Space aliens locked in intergalactic battles, greedy pirates digging for treasure, and superheroes with the power to make friends wherever they go. And look, he's added a little bit of dialogue. Thank you for toasting my marshmallows. I got you now, colors. Arg! Yay! Hi. Hi, friend. Have a cookie. On Monday morning, Mrs. Carlotti introduces Justin, a new student, to the class. Brian smiles shyly at him. Some of the other kids sneak looks at Justin, trying to figure out if he's cool enough to be their friend. They haven't quite made up their minds yet. Have you ever experienced that when a new person comes into the classroom? That's interesting. At lunch, Madison and JT watch Justin eat with chopsticks. "What's that?" asked Madison as she pointed to Justin's food. "It's bulgogi." What? Bulgogi. It's Korean barbecued beef. My grandma made it for me. It's really good. Do you want to try some? There's no way I'm gonna eat bulgogi. And the kids laughed. All of them. That is except Brian. He sits there wondering which is worse, being laughed at or being invisible. That's an interesting question, isn't it? In a story where they ask, is it better to be laughed at or be invisible? Think about that question. The next day, when Justin goes to his cubby to put away his backpack, he notices a piece of paper with his name on it. Justin. I thought the bulgogi looked good. Brian. Yum. That was a very kind gesture, wasn't it? At morning recess, Brian finds a piece of chalk on the ground and starts drawing away. You're Brian, right? Yeah. Well, thanks for the note. Hey, Justin! Emilio calls out from the tetherball court. You're up next! Sorry, I gotta go, says Justin. By the way, that's a really cool drawing, he adds before taking off. I don't know if you noticed something, but we're going to see if you can see what's happening on the page. Do you see it? Look at Brian. Look at him. Oh. Now what? Look again. Do you see the difference? It's interesting. Back in class, Mrs. Carlotti asked the kids to team up in 2s or 3s for a special project. The kids scurry around the room to pair off. Brian heads towards Justin. I mean, why not? Just had a nice conversation. I'm all ready with Justin, says Emilio. Find someone else. Brian looks at the floor. He wishes he could draw a hole right there to swallow him up. Mrs. Carlotti said we can have up to 3 people in our group. We're only 2. Come on, Emilio. Let him work with us. Okay, I guess. Look. Do you see what's happening? Mrs. Carlotti gives the class directions for the project. Your assignment is to work together to write a story about what you see in that photograph. Use your imagination and have fun. Whoa, cool, says Emilio. What kind of people do you think would live in houses like that? Well, I don't know, but I bet Brian could draw them to go with our story, says Justin. Brian smiles and takes out his lucky pen. What do you notice about Brian? The crooked story we made up on the spot. Take a look. Here are some of the things. The narrator says, Hi, I'm the narrator. And if you're wondering why a pirate got the part of the narrator, well, I'll tell you. And it goes on. Looks like a fun story they made. It's lunchtime again. Brian's least favorite part of the day.
Another 20 long minutes of talking and laughing with everyone else but him. "Brian!" He hears someone shout, "Hey, Brian, over here!" Brian turns and sees Justin waving him over. Emilio nods at Brian as he makes room for him at the table. "Cookie? Thanks." Maybe, just maybe, Brian's not so invisible after all.
It's time for our mindful minute. That's right. For the next minute, let's slow down like it's a dog day afternoon and think about this very truthful story. Everyone feels invisible sometimes. Not unlike the boy in our story, we have felt colorless, see-through, alone, like we don't matter. Think of a moment this past week when you felt invisible. Was it sitting at your screen, never getting a chance to share your thoughts? Was it a moment wishing you could be with a friend, or two, or three, going out to recess and sharing your secrets in person? Was it a frustration you had working with technology and no one seemed to care or notice you were struggling? Now think two more thoughts. First, how did you become visible again? Did someone reach out and say, "It'll be okay"? Did you have a little FaceTime with a friend? Did a teacher realize it was finally your turn to share? Now, second, how can you help someone else to be visible again? What kindness can you show? What action will you take to make sure everyone feels seen in full color, included, and part of the group? Remember, kindness makes the invisible things matter. Kindness makes the invisible visible again.
Nobody wants to feel invisible. But when you're learning remotely and you're learning through cyber school, sometimes you feel that way. It's clear you're not the only one, though. Remember, we're all here for each other. And it seems like you're doing a pretty good job, but don't take my word for it. As we close out the episode today, here are some words from your very own classmates. Hope you have a great week. We'll see you next Thursday. And remember, be kind and help others to stay visible.
Every afternoon we go with all the 4th grade teachers and all the 4th grade students. We all come in together and it's nice. We do social studies, science, and all that amazing stuff, and it's really fun doing it.
My name is Abdullah. I am in 5th grade at Edison Elementary. I'm doing online school. It's going great, and I would like to thank all the teachers and staffs for doing an amazing job. Thank you. Bye.
Hope you felt a connection today. That is so important if you want to see the whole picture. Here's a thought. Remember, each one of us is a dot, but together we can make something that is invisible visible again.
Rest of my life gonna start today.